Hello, everyone. Let's see who's here today. Hello again. Who's here live with me today? Last week, I mentioned talking about the weather like something to fill the time as we wait for the start time, which is about now. But it's more than that. It's noticing qualities, really noticing qualities. All right, let's get started. Hello, thank you for joining me today again on our Sunday 1 p.m. meditation, short meditation. You're on Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube channel. As I often do, I want to start with a poem. Meditation, I heard a teacher today on a podcast say there's an idea that meditation is rest. It can be rest. That is, it is rest in one way. It is resting closer to get more familiar with our true essence. This is true. What it also does as we rest in our true essence is it allows a space. Eventually, this may be felt as a safe space that allows for what's hidden, what's been in the shadows to emerge. And when it emerges, how we meet it, how we respond, which is in many ways largely unconscious. But in the meditation practice, we can make our response more and more conscious. So I may read two poems, and you can go ahead and get started in your meditation seat, make yourself comfortable. Maybe you're lying down, maybe you're in a legs up the wall position, so that you can truly slide into a still place. This is by Dana Fouts. I didn't love this poem when I first read it. I'm liking it a lot today, and in the context of what's happening in our social spheres these days. Loss of innocence. A chickadee flew off the feeder. You know chickadees, flying balls of energy and attitude. This one flew full tilt into a piece of reflected sky. I heard the thud as the bird hit glass, saw it flutter, stunned, barely aloft, and watched it land on the deck railing, not a foot from where I sat. His beak was open, gasping, eyes blinking rapidly as if to clear his vision of a memory he preferred to forget. The small breast heaved, then slowly calmed. He closed his beak, cocked his head, and made a quarter turn on his perch to stare at me. I'm sorry, I said. It's glass, not sky. The chickadee blinked and eyed me squarely. Are you cold? I asked. Would you like me to hold you? I extended my hand, palm stretched flat. Don't touch me, he said without words. So we sat, the chickadee and me, with titmice and nuthatch dined at the feeder, and dry leaves scratched their way across the deck. Then the bird, so small, so delicate, crouched like a tiger and about to pounce, and launched himself off the railing. He flew to a nearby tree where he preened and scolded me for living in a house with windows. So let's forego the second poem and settle into our seat for about 12 minutes of silence. Mostly, I'll try to speak a little bit less today. Stillness and spaciousness. But as usual, a very good first step is ground. In this solid life as bodies on this planet, this is something we can always count on. No matter how badly the earth feels it is shaking, the ground is here. Giving us, as Annie suggested last Monday, I think it was, space to push it, something to push against, something to hold us. As we breathe, settle, just sense this presence of ground that is so important in order to anchor so we don't get blown away by the winds of fear, of pressure, other mind storms. And it can be very quieting very quickly to sense our alive presence, not a static, dead presence, but a alive, pulsing presence. Where we can appreciate and allow and invite the flow of breath. Perhaps letting the exhales be just a little bit longer for maybe 5, 6 repetitions. Downward sense of gravity that is the Earth's force, holding us steadily downward, planted, steady, and allowing for the buoyancy, lightness, and release, perhaps even small muscular releases through the low back and the belly, from around the heart, shoulders, mouth, the eyes, scalp. It may be hard to shake the idea that we are to only meditating if our minds are empty, if we're sensing some kind of blissful presence. Do your best to let that one go and recognize that this sitting, this commitment regularly to a little bit of time and stillness, upright if possible, alert, welcoming spaciousness. Even if it doesn't feel easy, blissful, things are shifting inside. This stopping, this pausing. Some of that shifting may be something that's not so comfortable. Physical pain, emotional nagging, recurring thoughts. Do your best to find a space for that here. Here might be in your heart or in your gut or in your mind. But it also might be as if sitting next to you, outside of you, perhaps even at quite a distance. Simply letting it be. Returning to a sense of larger presence. You may find as something painful or uncomfortable arises, if you allow it to be without you having to fix it, understand it, analyze it, and see it, allow it, see it as not all of you but part of you, it may already begin to transform. It may not be the pain that you thought it was. Meanwhile, we keep our sights on just sitting, nothing fancy, welcoming, sustained by the breath. And so we can learn through this practice to be open-hearted in this way, making a space for what is here, be it delightful or difficult, that it might show us something about ourselves, that we put up glass windows for a chickadee to fly into. It might be that we cultivate that sense of openness and warm regard that connects to everything that seems other. That we open to the vast unknown, which can at once be terrifying and also full of possibility. Of the next wise, loving steps. So perhaps you have time to sit a little longer, and please go ahead and feel free to do that. But first, let's bow together and then you can continue. Right hand, left hand, palms together. May all beings know freedom. May all beings know contentment. May all beings know safety. Thank you. Thanks for all of you for joining. Hello, Mary Beth. Thank you for being here today.